She was a cleaning lady fighting to survive. He was a billionaire running from his problems. Two worlds that should never meet, until one wrong door changed everything.
I need to get home. My family needs me. This is a mistake.
What started as the biggest error of her life became a flight to paradise. But when the private jet landed in the Maldives, the real turbulence began.
I don't care where you live or what you do for a living. I care about who you are.
One day in paradise, one impossible connection. But when the world discovered their secret,
We live in different worlds, Liam. This was just a beautiful dream.
Then let me prove dreams can become reality.
his company, her pride, a vengeful enemy determined to destroy them both. Will love survive when everything they've built is on the line? Before we get into the story, comment below where in the world you're watching from today. The Miami sun beat down on Amara Duval's back as she wiped sweat from her forehead. Her dark curls were pulled back in a practical bun, and her cleaning uniform clung to her skin in the humid air. The private airstrip shimmered in the heat as she pushed her cart toward the next jet on her list. "Just 3 more planes and you're done," she mumbled to herself, checking her watch. She needed to finish on time to pick up her grandmother's medication before heading home. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, probably her brother Marcus calling about his insulin again. At 27, Amara carried responsibilities that would crush most people. Her younger brother's diabetes required constant attention, and her grandmother's growing confusion meant she couldn't be left alone for long. The cleaning job at Elite Airways paid just enough to keep their heads above water, but never enough to breathe easy. She glanced at the sleek white jet ahead of her. The number on her clipboard said Hangar 7B, but the heat was playing tricks on her eyes. She squinted at the jet's tail number, then back at her paperwork. Close enough, she sighed, too exhausted to double-check. She'd been on her feet since 5 a.m., and her second job at the diner started at 7 p.m. There was no time for mistakes, but no energy to avoid them either. Inside, the jet's interior took her breath away. This wasn't the usual corporate plane with boring leather seats and wooden tables. This was luxury beyond anything she'd ever cleaned before. Cream-colored recliners, gleaming fixtures, and what looked like real crystal glasses in the cabinets. "They probably spend more on champagne than I make in a year," Amara muttered, slipping on fresh gloves. She started with the bathroom, scrubbing with extra care. Rich people noticed every speck of dust, and complaints could cost her the job she desperately needed. Focused on her work, she didn't hear the jet door close, didn't notice the subtle change in pressure as the cabin sealed. It wasn't until the engines roared to life that Amara froze, spray bottle in hand. "What the?" She stumbled as the plane began to move. Dropping her cleaning supplies, she rushed toward the cabin door, but it was too late. Through the small window, she watched in horror as the ground began to fall away. "No, no, no!" Amara pounded on the door. "Stop! I'm still in here!" The plane continued its smooth ascent. Panic rose in her chest. Her grandmother would be waiting for her medication. Marcus needed her to check his blood sugar, and here she was, trapped on some stranger's jet, flying to God knows where. A voice from behind made her jump. "Excuse me, who are you?" Amara turned to find herself face to face with a man about her age, his expression a mixture of confusion and annoyance. He wore expensive jeans and a simple white button-down that probably cost more than her rent. His dark hair was slightly messy, and his eyes, a piercing blue, were fixed directly on her. "I'm the cleaner," Amara said, trying to keep her voice steady. "I was cleaning this jet when it took off, with me still inside." The man raised an eyebrow. "This is a private flight. How did you get past security?" "I work for Elite Airways. Your plane was on my cleaning schedule." She held up her clipboard with trembling hands. "Or at least, I thought it was. Look, this is a mistake. You need to turn around and take me back." He studied her for a long moment, his eyes traveling from her uniform to the cleaning cart that had tipped over during takeoff. "I'm Liam Castell," he finally said, "and I'm afraid we can't turn around. I have meetings in the Maldives that can't be rescheduled." "The Maldives?" Amara's voice rose. "As in the islands? In the Indian Ocean?" Liam nodded, his expression unreadable. "No." Amara shook her head. "No, that's not possible. I have to get home. My family needs me. My brother is diabetic, and my grandmother—" "I'm sorry about your situation," Liam cut her off, "but this flight is happening. Todd probably thought you were part of the new flight staff." "Todd? My pilot." Liam gestured toward the cockpit. "My assistant was supposed to arrange for a flight attendant. He probably assumed that was you." Amara felt her temper flare. "So, because I'm black and in uniform, I must be the help?" Is that it? Liam's eyes widened. That's not what I meant. I'm not here to pour your drinks or fulfill whatever fantasy you rich guys have about women on private jets. She crossed her arms. I need to get home to my family. Something in Liam's expression shifted. I understand family obligations, he said, his voice softer, but we're already airborne. The best I can do is arrange for you to fly back immediately after we land. Amara closed her eyes, fighting back tears of frustration. And when will that be? About 20 hours, give or take. 20 hours. Her grandmother would be frantic. Marcus would have to handle everything alone. I need to make some calls, she said, reaching for her phone. Let them know what's happening. Liam nodded. The jet has satellite service. Use whatever you need. He hesitated, then added, I'll give you privacy, before moving to the front of the cabin. Amara's hands shook as she dialed Marcus. The call connected, his worried voice filling her ear. Amara? Where are you? Grandma's asking for her pills and I'm running low on test strips. Marcus, something happened. She explained the situation as calmly as possible, though her heart was racing. I need you to call Mrs. Diaz next door. She can help Grandma tonight. 20 hours? Amara, that's crazy. Should I call the police? No, she said firmly. No police. The last thing we need is trouble. Just hold things down until I get back. I'll make this right. After similar conversations with her grandmother and her supervisor at the diner, Amara felt drained. She sank into one of the plush seats, reality crashing down around her. She was flying to the other side of the world with a stranger, leaving her family vulnerable, and would almost certainly lose both her jobs for missing shifts. Liam returned, carrying 2 bottles of water. He offered one to Amara, who took it reluctantly. Were you able to reach your family? He asked, taking the seat across from her. Yes. Amara didn't elaborate. This man didn't need to know her problems. Liam seemed to sense her resistance. Look, I know this isn't ideal for either of us, but we're stuck together for the next day. Maybe we can make the best of it. Amara gave him a flat look. Make the best of it. My brother could end up in the hospital. My grandmother is probably crying right now, thinking I abandoned her. And I'll lose both my jobs, which means I can't pay rent next month. She leaned forward. So tell me, Mr. Castell, how exactly do you suggest I make the best of that? Her words hung in the air between them. Liam had the decency to look uncomfortable. I can compensate you, he finally said, for lost wages and any trouble this causes. I don't want your money. The words came out sharper than she intended. I want to go home. That's not possible right now. Because your meetings are more important than my family's well-being? Liam's jaw tightened. You don't know anything about me or my situation. And you don't know anything about mine, Amara shot back. Yet here we are. They fell into an uneasy silence. Amara turned to look out the window, watching as the coastline of Florida disappeared beneath the clouds. She felt like she was watching her life slip away too. After what felt like hours, Liam spoke again. You're right. I don't know your situation, but I'd like to. Amara turned back to him suspicious. Why? Because we're going to be sharing this space for almost a day, and I'd rather not spend it in hostile silence. He offered a tentative smile. Plus, I'm curious how someone ends up accidentally boarding a private jet. Despite herself, Amara felt the corner of her mouth twitch. By being overworked and underpaid, that's how. Liam nodded. Fair enough. What's your name? You know mine, but I don't know yours. Amara. Amara Duval. Well, Amara Duval, are you hungry? The galley is stocked, and while I can't turn this plane around, I can at least offer you a decent meal. Amara realized she hadn't eaten since her 5 a.m. breakfast. A granola bar scarfed down in her car. Her stomach growled traitorously. Fine, she conceded. Food would be good. As Liam busied himself in the galley, Amara studied him more carefully. Despite his obvious wealth, there was something troubled in his expression when he thought she wasn't looking. Dark circles under his eyes suggested he wasn't sleeping well, and he was traveling alone on a massive private jet, which seemed odd for a man who could probably have any company he wanted. So what takes you to the Maldives? She asked, when he returned with 2 plates of surprisingly good-looking sandwiches. Business or pleasure? A shadow crossed his face. Neither, really. Just needed to get away. From what? Liam took a bite of his sandwich, chewing slowly as if buying time. Life. Expectations. The usual. Ah, the burden of being rich and powerful, Amara said, unable to keep the sarcasm from her voice. Must be tough. To her surprise, Liam didn't take offense. It's a different kind of tough than what you're facing. But yes, it comes with its own problems. Like what? Your private chef overcooked your Wagyu beef. The diamond polish on your watch is smudged. Liam set down his sandwich. Like my fiancée calling off our wedding 2 days ago because she decided my money wasn't worth putting up with the real me. Like my so-called friends all taking her side. Like my father calling to say he always knew I'd screw this up too. Amara felt a twinge of guilt. I'm sorry, that's rough. It is what it is. Liam shrugged, but she could see the hurt beneath his casual demeanor. Anyway, enough about my problems. Tell me about your brother and grandmother. Surprised by his interest, Amara found herself opening up. She told him about Marcus, diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 12, now 22, and trying to balance community college with his health struggles. About her grandmother, whose memory was fading but whose spirit remained strong. About how she'd been caring for them both since her parents died in a car accident 5 years ago. That's a lot for one person to handle, Liam said when she finished. We do what we have to for family. Not everyone does, he said quietly. They continued talking as the plane crossed the Atlantic. Amara learned that Liam had built his tech company from scratch, creating a security software now used by governments worldwide. He'd grown up with money, but had been cut off when he dropped out of Harvard to pursue his startup. My father believed in the traditional path, he explained. Ivy League, then law school, then joining the family firm. When I chose technology instead, he said I was throwing my life away. But you proved him wrong, Amara said. Financially, yes. In every other way, he trailed off. Let's just say money doesn't fix everything. As night fell, the jet continued its journey eastward. Amara dozed off, exhaustion finally catching up with her. She woke to find a blanket draped over her and Liam working quietly on his laptop across the cabin. What time is it? She asked groggily. About 3 a.m. Miami time, Liam replied. You should try to sleep more. The seats recline fully. I'm not used to sleeping while my problems are wide awake, she said, but adjusted her seat anyway. Don't you sleep? Not much these days. Amara studied him in the dim cabin light. Your fiancée is an idiot. Liam looked up, startled. What? If she couldn't see your worth beyond your bank account, she's an idiot. A slow smile spread across his face, the first genuine one she'd seen. Thank you. Don't get used to compliments from me, Amara warned, but she was smiling too. I'm still mad about this whole kidnapping situation. It's not kidnapping if it's accidental, Liam pointed out. More like an unplanned adventure. Tell that to my family when I get home. Liam's expression turned serious. I've been thinking about that. I have connections in Miami. I can make sure your brother and grandmother have whatever they need while you're away. We don't need charity. It's not charity, Amara. It's taking responsibility for a situation I'm partly to blame for. She wanted to argue but was too tired. We'll talk about it in the morning. When Amara next opened her eyes, sunlight was streaming through the windows. She sat up, momentarily disoriented before remembering where she was. Liam was nowhere to be seen, but she heard movement in the galley. Good morning, he said, appearing with 2 cups of coffee. We're about halfway there. Amara accepted the coffee gratefully. Have you been up all night? Most of it. He sat across from her. I called some people in Miami. Your brother and grandmother are being taken care of. What does that mean? Amara straightened, instantly alert. It means I arranged for a home health aide to stay with your grandmother, and I had a month's supply of insulin and test strips delivered to your brother. Liam held up a hand as she opened her mouth to protest. Before you get angry, I didn't give them money, just practical help. Amara's chest tightened with a mixture of relief and pride. You had no right to interfere in my family's business. Probably not, Liam agreed. But I did anyway. Why? Because I could. Because it needed doing. Because maybe it helps make up for the fact that you're trapped on this plane with me. She wanted to be angry, but the tension in her shoulders eased, knowing her family was okay. Thank you, she said reluctantly. But don't make a habit of trying to fix my life. Wouldn't dream of it. Liam smiled over his coffee cup. You seem quite capable of handling things yourself. I am. Amara paused. Which is why I need to figure out how to keep my jobs when I get back. What exactly do you do besides cleaning private jets? I work the night shift at a diner near our apartment. The tips aren't great, but the manager lets me adjust my hours when Marcus has doctor appointments. Liam considered this. What would you do if money wasn't an issue? If you could choose any career? The question caught Amara off guard. No one had asked about her dreams in years, not since she'd set them aside to care for her family. I always wanted to be a physical therapist, she admitted. I was taking classes at Miami-Dade before my parents died, but then medical bills and funeral costs. She shrugged. Life happened. Liam nodded, his expression thoughtful. You had to become the responsible one. Someone had to. They lapsed into comfortable silence. The landscape outside the window had changed to endless ocean, sunlight dancing on the waves below. Despite the circumstances, Amara felt a strange sense of peace. For the first time in years, she wasn't rushing between jobs or checking on her family. She was just existing. It's beautiful, she murmured, watching the clouds drift by. It is, Liam agreed. But when she glanced over, he wasn't looking out the window. He was looking at her. Their eyes met, and something shifted in the air between them. Amara looked away first, suddenly conscious of her wrinkled uniform and messy hair. I must look a mess, she said, smoothing her curls. You look real, Liam replied. It's refreshing. Before Amara could respond, a voice came over the intercom. Mr. Castell, we're beginning our approach to Malé. ETA 90 minutes. Reality crashed back. In 90 minutes they would land, and this strange interlude would end. Amara would be put on the first flight home, and Liam would continue with his life of privilege and power. I should get cleaned up, she said, rising from her seat. There's a shower in the rear cabin, Liam offered, and probably some clothes that would fit you in the storage compartment. My assistant always packs extras. Of course she does, Amara muttered, but she was grateful for the chance to freshen up. The shower was better than the one in her apartment, with multiple jets and expensive-smelling toiletries. Amara allowed herself a few extra minutes under the hot water, washing away the stress and sweat of the past day. True to Liam's word, she found clothes that fit her reasonably well. A simple sundress and sandals that were clearly meant for resort wear. She changed quickly, avoiding looking at the price tags that were still attached. When she emerged, Liam was on the phone, his voice tense. I don't care what the board thinks, Vanessa. I'm taking time off. No, I'm not coming back early. Handle it like I pay you to. He hung up with a frustrated sigh. Trouble in paradise? Amara asked. Liam turned, and his expression changed when he saw her. The dress was more fitted than Amara had realized, highlighting curves usually hidden under her baggy uniform. You look... He seemed to search for the right word. Different. Different good or different bad? Definitely good. He cleared his throat. Very good. An awkward silence fell between them, charged with something neither was ready to acknowledge. Your call sounded intense, Amara said, changing the subject. Just business. Nothing important. It seemed important. Liam ran a hand through his hair. The board wants me back in Miami for an emergency meeting. Apparently my unplanned vacation is causing investor concern. So you'll be coming back with me? No. His answer was firm. I need this time away. The company won't fall apart in a week. Amara studied him. You're running from something. Aren't you observant? Liam said dryly. It's a survival skill. When you grow up without a safety net, you learn to read people quickly. The plane began its descent, the island nation of the Maldives coming into view below, a scattering of green and white dots in a vast blue ocean. It's like something from a dream, Amara breathed, pressing her face to the window. Have you ever traveled outside the US? Liam asked. She shook her head. Never had the time or money. And your first international trip is an accidental kidnapping to the Maldives, Liam chuckled. Life has a strange sense of humor. As the plane touched down on a private airstrip, reality began to set in again. Amara would soon be heading home to face the consequences of her unexpected absence. I've arranged for you to fly back to Miami tonight, Liam said, as if reading her thoughts. First class, the plane leaves at 8 p.m. Thank you. Amara gathered her few belongings. For that and for understanding. Liam nodded. I should be thanking you. This is the most honest conversation I've had with anyone in years. The plane taxied to a stop and the engines fell silent. A moment later the door opened, flooding the cabin with bright sunlight and humid tropical air. A woman in a crisp suit stood at the bottom of the stairs, tablet in hand, her expression professionally blank, despite the surprise that flickered in her eyes when she saw Amara. Welcome to the Maldives, Mr. Castell, she said. I see you've brought a guest. Before Liam could explain, the woman's eyes narrowed with recognition. Wait, aren't you the cleaning staff from Miami? How did you... She turned to Liam. Sir, should I call security? Amara felt her cheeks burn with humiliation. All the comfort and connection she'd felt with Liam during the flight evaporated in an instant. She was just the help again, suspected of wrongdoing simply for being in a space not meant for people like her. That won't be necessary, Vanessa, Liam said firmly. Ms. Duval is my guest. Please arrange accommodation for her at the resort until her flight this evening. Vanessa's perfect composure slipped for just a moment. Of course, sir. She gave Amara a cold, assessing look before turning back to her tablet. Amara wanted to disappear. The beautiful island paradise suddenly felt hostile, a place where she didn't belong. I just want to go home, she whispered. Liam stepped closer, lowering his voice so only she could hear. Don't let her make you feel small. You belong anywhere you want to be. Easy for you to say. The world opens doors for men like you. Then let me open this one. Stay, just for the day. See the Maldives before you go back. Amara hesitated. The responsible thing would be to get on the first plane home. But when would she ever have this chance again? Just until my flight tonight, she finally agreed. Liam's smile was like sunrise. I promise it'll be worth it. As they descended the stairs together, the tropical breeze wrapped around them like a promise of something new. Behind them, the jet stood silent, witness to the beginning of a journey neither had planned but both perhaps had needed. Vanessa watched them with calculating eyes, already typing rapidly on her phone. In Miami, Marcus gave insulin to his grandmother by mistake, sending her blood sugar dangerously low. And in a gleaming office tower, Liam's board of directors voted unanimously to take action in his absence. The stage was set. What had begun as a mistake was about to become something far more complicated and far more important than either Amara or Liam could imagine. The Maldives resort was unlike anything Amara had ever seen. Pristine white beaches stretched alongside crystal-clear turquoise waters. Luxurious villas perched on stilts over the ocean, connected by wooden walkways that snaked across the water. "This is where you're staying?" Amara asked as their golf cart stopped in front of a massive beachfront villa. Liam nodded. "Home for the next week, or it was supposed to be." Vanessa cleared her throat. "Ms. Duval's accommodations are in the garden section," she said, her tone making it clear that Amara didn't belong in the premium beachfront area. "I'll take her there now." "That won't be necessary," Liam said. "Ms. Duval will use the guest suite here." Vanessa's perfectly penciled eyebrows rose. "Sir, I don't think that's appropriate. Thank you, Vanessa. That will be all for now." Liam's tone was polite but firm. Vanessa pressed her lips together, clearly displeased. "As you wish. I'll send someone with Ms. Duval's documentation for her flight tonight." She turned on her heel and walked away, already pulling out her phone. "You didn't have to do that," Amara said once Vanessa was out of earshot. "Do what?" "Put me in your villa. Your assistant already thinks I'm trying to take advantage of you." Liam shrugged. "Vanessa thinks everyone is trying to take advantage of me. It's why I pay her." He gestured toward the villa. "Besides, the guest suite is completely separate. You'll have your privacy." Amara hesitated. Everything about this situation felt dangerous. Not physically, but emotionally. Being near Liam stirred feelings she'd kept dormant for years. Practical, responsible, Amara didn't have time for attraction or romance. She had a family to support, jobs to maintain, bills to pay. "I should probably just wait at the airport," she said. "For 10 hours? Liam shook his head. "Don't be ridiculous. You're here in paradise for one day of your life. Let yourself enjoy it." The sincerity in his eyes broke through her resistance. "One day," she agreed. The villa was as impressive inside as out, all clean lines and natural materials, with floor-to-ceiling windows framing the ocean view. A friendly staff member showed Amara to the guest suite, which was larger than her entire apartment back home. "Fresh clothes have been provided," the young woman said, gesturing to the closet, "and Mr. Castell has arranged for a spa treatment for you in 1 hour, if that suits." Amara's eyes widened. "A spa treatment?" "Yes, miss. The full package. Massage, facial, hair and nails." After the woman left, Amara opened the closet to find several sundresses, swimwear and casual outfits in exactly her size. The price tags were gone, but everything looked expensive. "This is too much," she murmured, running her fingers over the soft fabrics. A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. Liam stood there, changed into linen pants and a loose shirt that made him look more relaxed than she'd seen him yet. "Everything okay?" he asked. "You bought me clothes." "Technically, Vanessa did. I just gave instructions. And a spa day." "Liam, this isn't necessary." He leaned against the doorframe. "Consider it my apology for accidentally kidnapping you." Despite herself, Amara laughed. "Some kidnapping, private jet, luxury resort. So you'll go to the spa? Enjoy yourself a little?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Fine, but only because I probably smell like airplane and cleaning products." Liam grinned. "Great, I'll meet you for lunch afterward. The restaurant on the beach is amazing. It's a date, Amara said, then immediately backtracked. I mean, not a date, just a meeting for food. A meeting for food, Liam repeated, his eyes twinkling. I'll see you at 1. After he left, Amara sank onto the plush bed, her heart racing. What was she doing? This wasn't her world. Tomorrow she'd be back in Miami, back to her real life with its real problems. Getting swept up in a fantasy with a millionaire would only lead to heartbreak. But for today, maybe she could pretend. The spa was even more luxurious than she'd imagined. For 2 hours, Amara surrendered to gentle hands that massaged away years of stress from her body. Her hair was washed, conditioned, and styled into loose, natural curls that framed her face perfectly. The manicurist painted her nails a soft coral that matched one of the new sundresses. By the time she was finished, Amara hardly recognized herself in the mirror. Without the perpetual exhaustion etched into her features, she looked younger, softer somehow. Wow, she whispered, touching her reflection. Dressed in the coral sundress and delicate sandals, Amara made her way to the beach restaurant. Liam was already waiting at a table overlooking the water, his face lighting up when he spotted her. You look incredible, he said as she sat down. Amazing what a little pampering can do, Amara replied, though she couldn't help feeling pleased. Lunch was a leisurely affair, fresh seafood, tropical fruits and conversation that flowed as easily as the sparkling water in their glasses. Amara found herself sharing stories about her childhood dreams, her parents before their accident, her hopes for Marcus's future. He's smart, she said proudly. If his health stabilizes, he could finish his degree in computer science. That's my field, Liam said. If he ever wants an internship, Amara shook her head. No more charity, remember? It's not charity to recognize talent. Liam leaned forward. You're so quick to refuse help, Amara. Why is that? Because help comes with strings. Always. Not always. She raised an eyebrow. In my experience, yes, always. Liam considered this. What if I could prove you wrong? How would you do that? Let me show you the island today. No strings, no expectations. Just 2 people enjoying a beautiful place. Part of Amara wanted to refuse, to maintain the walls she'd built around her heart over years of disappointment. But a smaller, braver part whispered that maybe, just maybe, Liam was different. Okay, she said. Show me paradise. What followed was the most magical afternoon of Amara's life. They snorkeled in a lagoon teeming with colorful fish, her initial fear giving way to wonder as Liam guided her through the warm, clear water. They walked for miles along pristine beaches, talking about everything and nothing. They discovered a hidden cove where Liam convinced her to jump from a small cliff into the ocean below, her scream of terror turning to exhilarated laughter as she surfaced. Through it all, Liam never pushed, never presumed. He was attentive but respectful, charming but genuine. Amara found herself lowering her guard, hour by hour, smile by smile. I've never done anything like this, she admitted as they sat on the beach, watching the sun begin its descent toward the horizon. Like what? Taken a day for myself, not worried about work or family or money. She dug her toes into the warm sand. It feels selfish. It's not selfish to fill your own cup, Liam said quietly. You can't keep pouring from an empty vessel. Amara looked at him, really looked at him. The setting sun painted his profile in gold, highlighting the strength in his jaw, the warmth in his eyes. For a man with so much material wealth, he carried a surprising depth of understanding about things that mattered. What happened with your fiancée? She asked suddenly. The real story. Liam was quiet for so long that Amara thought he wouldn't answer. When he finally spoke, his voice was low. Melanie was the daughter of one of my father's business associates. We met at a charity gala, started dating. It was comfortable, expected even. Our families approved, we made sense on paper. But I was never fully myself with her. I played the role she wanted. Successful businessman, future husband, provider. She never saw the real me because I never showed her. He picked up a handful of sand, letting it sift through his fingers. 2 days before the wedding, I overheard her on the phone with her friend. She said marrying me would be worth it for the money and status, even if she had to put up with my boring personality and workaholic tendencies for the rest of her life. That's awful, Amara said. It was enlightening. I confronted her. She didn't even deny it, just asked why I was upset about something so obvious. Liam's laugh was hollow. She said most marriages were business arrangements at our level of society. Love was for fairy tales and poor people who had nothing else. She sounds charming. She was perfect for the life I thought I wanted. He turned to look at Amara. Until today, I wasn't sure what I actually wanted instead. The implication hung between them, charged with possibility. Amara's heart raced. This was dangerous territory. Liam, Mr. Castell. Vanessa's voice cut through the moment like a knife. She approached rapidly, tablet in hand. I've been looking everywhere for you. There's an urgent matter requiring your attention. Liam didn't look away from Amara. Can it wait? I'm afraid not, sir. The board has called an emergency vote to temporarily remove you as CEO due to your unexpected absence. Vanessa's eyes flicked to Amara. They're claiming abandonment of duties. That got Liam's attention. They can't do that. They're citing the morality clause in your contract. Apparently, someone provided them with concerning information. What information? Vanessa hesitated, again glancing at Amara. Perhaps we should discuss this privately, sir. Liam stood, brushing sand from his pants. Anything you have to say can be said in front of Amara. Vanessa's professional mask slipped for an instant, revealing something cold and calculating beneath. Very well. The board received an anonymous tip that you absconded on your private jet with a woman you picked up in Miami, a woman who isn't your fiancée. Ex-fiancée, Liam corrected. And I didn't pick up anyone. This is ridiculous. Nevertheless, they're meeting in an hour. You need to join the video call and explain yourself or they'll proceed with the vote. Liam's jaw tightened. Fine. Set it up in the villa. Vanessa nodded. Right away, sir. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Ms. Duval, your flight documentation is ready at reception. You'll need to leave for the airport in 2 hours. After she left, the magical bubble of the afternoon had burst. Reality came crashing back with brutal force. I should go get ready, Amara said, rising to her feet. Liam caught her hand. Wait, this isn't how I wanted our day to end. How did you want it to end, Liam? What exactly did you think would happen here? I don't know, he admitted. I just know I'm not ready to say goodbye. Amara gently pulled her hand away. We live in different worlds. Today was a beautiful dream, but dreams end. They have to. She walked back to the villa alone, each step an effort. In the guest suite, she changed out of the coral sundress and back into her cleaned uniform. It felt right somehow. A reminder of who she really was, not the pampered princess she'd pretended to be for a day. Her phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. Need you home. Grandma not doing well. Guilt crashed over her. While she'd been playing in paradise, her family was struggling. She quickly replied that she'd be on the overnight flight, arriving tomorrow morning. From the main part of the villa, she could hear Liam's voice tense and authoritative as he addressed his board. This was his real life, business crises and corporate politics, just as her real life was working multiple jobs and caring for her family. Today had been a beautiful mirage, nothing more. Amara finished packing the few belongings she'd arrived with, leaving the new clothes hanging in the closet. She wouldn't take anything from this fantasy back to reality. A soft knock at the door made her look up. One of the staff members stood there with an envelope. Ms. Duval, Mr. Castell asked me to give you this. Thank you. Amara took the envelope, waiting until the door closed before opening it. Inside was a note in Liam's handwriting. Amara, I'm sorry our day was cut short. There's a car waiting to take you to the airport whenever you're ready. I wish we had more time. If you ever decide that help doesn't always come with strings, call me. Anytime, day or night, Liam. A business card was paper-clipped to the note, with his personal number handwritten on the back. Amara tucked the card into her pocket. She wouldn't call, couldn't call, but somehow she couldn't bring herself to throw it away either. With one last look at the paradise she was leaving behind, Amara wheeled her small suitcase out of the villa. True to Liam's word, a luxury car was waiting to take her to the airport. As the car pulled away from the resort, Amara didn't look back. She couldn't bear to see if Liam was watching her leave. The airport was crowded with tourists heading home from their vacations. Amara blended in with the masses, just another traveler returning to ordinary life after a taste of luxury. At the check-in counter, she presented her documentation. Ms. Duval, the attendant smiled. We have you in first class to Miami via Dubai. First class. Of course, Liam would do that. Amara thought about objecting, about asking for a coach seat instead, but exhaustion won out. The flight was over 20 hours. She might as well be comfortable. As she waited at the gate, her phone buzzed again. This time, it was a call from Mrs. Diaz, their neighbor. Amara? Thank God you answered. Your grandmother had a bad fall. Marcus took her to Miami General about an hour ago. Amara's blood ran cold. How bad is it? I don't know, honey. Marcus sounded scared. He said her blood pressure was very high and she was confused. I'm at the airport now, Amara said, fighting to keep her voice steady. I'll be home tomorrow morning. Do you want me to go to the hospital? Sit with them? Would you? I'd be so grateful. After hanging up, Amara sat in the hard plastic chair, fighting back tears. She should have been there. If she hadn't made such a stupid mistake, if she hadn't boarded the wrong plane. A voice over the loudspeaker announced a 2-hour delay for her flight due to mechanical issues. Amara buried her face in her hands. 2 more hours her family would be alone in that hospital. 2 more hours of worry and fear. Amara! She looked up to find Liam standing there, slightly out of breath as if he'd been running. What are you doing here? I heard about your grandmother. At her confused look, he added, Marcus called me. How does Marcus have your number? I gave it to him when I arranged for the medical supplies. I told him to call if he needed anything. Liam sat beside her. He tried your phone first, but you were on with Mrs. Diaz. Amara shook her head in disbelief. So you what? Rushed to the airport to tell me in person? No, I rushed to the airport to take you home. What? Liam's expression was determined. My jet is fueled and ready. We can be in Miami in half the time of your commercial flight. But your board meeting is over. They backed down when I explained the situation and threatened to sell my shares to our competitor. He reached for her hand. Look, you can say no. You can wait for your delayed flight and get home tomorrow, or you can let me help you get to your family right now. Amara hesitated only a moment. Let's go. The return trip on Liam's jet was a stark contrast to their journey there. Instead of relaxed conversation and shared meals, there was tense silence as Amara stared out the window, willing the plane to fly faster. Liam sat across from her, occasionally making calls to check on her grandmother's condition. She's stable, he reported after one such call. Marcus says the doctors are running tests, but her blood pressure is coming down. Thank you, Amara said, genuinely grateful. For the updates, for the flight, for everything. Liam shook his head. Don't thank me. If it weren't for my plane, you wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. That was an accident. Still, I feel responsible. Amara studied him in the dim cabin light. You're a good man, Liam Castell. Better than you give yourself credit for. Something softened in his expression. Coming from you, that means a lot. As the plane began its descent into Miami, Amara felt the walls around her heart starting to crack. This man, this wealthy, powerful man, had dropped everything to help her family. No strings, no expectations, just because it was the right thing to do. Maybe she'd been wrong about help always coming with strings attached. The jet landed smoothly at the private airstrip. As soon as the door opened, Amara saw a sleek black car waiting on the tarmac. The car will take you straight to Miami General, Liam said. I've arranged for the best specialists to consult on your grandmother's case. You're not coming? The question slipped out before Amara could stop it. Liam hesitated. I didn't think you'd want me there. This is family time. He was right, of course. Having a billionaire tech CEO hovering in the hospital waiting room would only complicate an already stressful situation. And yet part of her wanted him there, wanted his steady presence and quiet strength. I understand, she said instead. Thank you again for everything. Liam nodded. Call me when you can. Let me know how she's doing. I will. Amara gathered her few belongings, then paused at the door. On impulse, she turned back and placed a soft kiss on Liam's cheek. Goodbye, Liam. The drive to the hospital was mercifully quick at that early hour. Miami was just waking up, the streets relatively empty as the car sped toward Miami General. Amara's mind raced with worry about her grandmother and confusion about her feelings for Liam. At the hospital, she found Marcus slumped in a waiting room chair, his face drawn with exhaustion. Amara! He jumped up when he saw her, enveloping her in a tight hug. How are you here already? Your flight wasn't supposed to land until this afternoon. It's a long story, she said, hugging him back. How's Grandma? Marcus ran a hand through his hair. Stable now. She had a minor stroke, the doctors think. Her blood pressure spiked dangerously high after I gave her the wrong medication. What? How did that happen? I mixed up her pills, Marcus admitted, his voice breaking. I was tired, trying to do too many things at once. It's my fault she's here. No, it's not, Amara said firmly. It's my fault for not being there. I should never have left you to handle everything alone. You were gone for 1 day, Amara. 1 day in 5 years. Marcus shook his head. You're allowed to have a life too, you know. Before she could respond, a doctor approached them. Ms. Duval? I'm Dr. Chen, your grandmother's neurologist. How is she? Amara asked. Remarkably well, considering. The stroke was minor, and we caught it early. Her scans show minimal damage. With proper care and rehabilitation, she should recover most of her function. Relief washed over Amara. Can we see her? She's resting now, but yes, for a few minutes. Dr. Chen hesitated. There is the matter of ongoing care. Your grandmother will need specialized rehabilitation and monitoring for the next few months. Amara's heart sank. Specialized care meant money they didn't have. Even with insurance, the copays alone would be devastating. We'll figure something out, she said, pushing aside her worry for the moment. Can you take us to her room? Their grandmother looked small and fragile in the hospital bed, her dark skin ashen against the white sheets. Monitors beeped softly, tracking her vital signs. Grandma? Amara took her hand gently. It's Amara. I'm home. The older woman's eyes fluttered open. Amara, is that really you? Yes, Grandma, I'm right here. Where did you go, child? I was so worried. I had to take an unexpected trip, Amara said, smoothing her grandmother's silver hair. But I'm back now. I won't leave again. You look different, her grandmother observed, studying her face. Something's changed. Amara thought about the past 24 hours. The private jet, the Maldives, Liam. Nothing important, just tired from traveling. After visiting briefly, they let their grandmother rest. Back in the waiting room, Marcus pulled Amara aside. Okay, spill it. How did you get home so fast? And why does Mrs. Diaz keep talking about you being kidnapped by a handsome millionaire? Amara sighed. It's complicated. I've got time, Marcus said, crossing his arms. And I think I deserve an explanation, especially after getting multiple calls from some guy named Liam Castell asking about Grandma's condition. So Amara told him everything. The wrong plane, the flight to the Maldives, the day in paradise, and Liam's insistence on flying her home when he heard about their grandmother. Marcus whistled. That's some wrong place, right time stuff right there. It was a crazy accident, nothing more, Amara insisted. Really? Because this Castell guy didn't sound like someone who flies cleaning staff around the world for no reason. He felt responsible for the mix-up. And that's all? Marcus raised an eyebrow. Amara looked away. That's all it can be. We live in different worlds, Marcus. Men like Liam don't end up with women like me. Why not? Because that's not how real life works. We had one day, a fantasy. Now I'm back to reality. Before Marcus could argue further, a hospital administrator approached them with a tablet. Ms. Duval, I need to discuss your grandmother's care plan and financial arrangements. Amara braced herself for the numbers. Go ahead. Everything has been arranged, the woman said, sounding confused. The premium care package has been fully covered, including 6 months of in-home rehabilitation with a specialized nurse. That's not possible, Amara said. We don't have that kind of coverage. The administrator checked her tablet again. According to our records, payment was processed this morning by the Castell Foundation for Medical Advancement. There's a note here that your grandmother has been selected for their stroke recovery pilot program. Amara and Marcus exchanged looks. The Castell Foundation? Amara repeated. Yes, it's quite an honor. Only a few patients were selected. The administrator smiled. Your grandmother is very fortunate. After she left, Marcus turned to Amara with a knowing look. Still think it was just about feeling responsible? Amara didn't answer. Her mind was reeling. Liam had created an entire foundation program on the spot to help her grandmother without making it feel like charity. He'd found a way to give help without strings, respecting her pride while meeting her family's needs. I need to call him, she said. I think you need to do more than call him, Marcus replied. That man flew you halfway around the world and back, created a medical foundation, and is paying for Grandma's care. If that's not love, I don't know what is. Love, don't be ridiculous. He barely knows me. Sometimes that's all it takes, the right person at the right time. Amara shook her head. This isn't one of your romance novels, Marcus. This is real life. Real life can have romance too, sis. He squeezed her shoulder. Don't push away something good just because you're scared. Amara thought about Liam, his kindness, his understanding, the way he saw her, really saw her. For one magical day, she'd felt something she hadn't allowed herself to feel in years. Possibility. I'll call him, she conceded, to thank him properly. That's all. Marcus grinned. Sure, that's all. But as Amara stepped outside to make the call, she knew it wasn't that simple. Something had changed in her heart, something that couldn't be undone. Whether she liked it or not, Liam Castell had broken through her carefully constructed walls. The question now was whether she was brave enough to let them stay down. She pulled out her phone and the business card with his number, her finger hovering over the dial button. Just as she was about to call, a text message appeared on her screen. Check your email, Liam. Curious, Amara opened her email app. There was a new message from Liam with a single line. No strings, just possibilities. Attached was a job offer from Castel Technologies for a patient care coordinator position. Flexible hours, excellent pay, comprehensive benefits, and full tuition reimbursement for employees pursuing healthcare degrees. It was everything she needed to care for her family while pursuing her own dreams. And it wasn't charity. It was an opportunity she was qualified for, one she would have to work hard at. Tears blurred Amara's vision as she read the email again. Liam had listened, really listened, to her dreams, her struggles, her pride. She dialed his number, heart pounding as it rang. Amara! His voice was warm, hopeful. How's your grandmother? She's going to be okay, Amara said, her voice thick with emotion. Thanks to you. I didn't do anything special. Yes, you did. You found a way to help without making me feel small. You respected my pride while meeting my needs. She took a deep breath. No one's ever done that before. I meant what I said about no strings, Liam replied. The job is yours if you want it, regardless of anything else. And if I want the anything else too? The words slipped out before she could stop them. There was a pause, then Liam's voice, softer now. Then I'd say we should talk about that in person. I'd like that. I'm still in Miami, he admitted. I couldn't leave, not knowing if you'd call. Amara's heart skipped. You stayed. I stayed. 3 simple syllables that felt like a promise. My grandmother needs me right now, Amara said, but maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow is perfect, Liam agreed. I'm not going anywhere, Amara. Take all the time you need. As she hung up the phone, Amara felt something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. Not just for survival, but for happiness. For possibility. Inside the hospital, Marcus was waiting with a knowing smile. Well? He's still in Miami, Amara said. We're going to talk tomorrow. Talk? Is that what the kids are calling it these days? Amara swatted his arm, but she was smiling too. Don't get ahead of yourself. Too late, Marcus grinned. I've already planned your destination wedding. You're impossible. And you're glowing. It's a good look on you, sis. As they walked back to their grandmother's room, Amara couldn't deny the truth in his words. Something had changed. She had changed. And for once, she wasn't fighting it. Back at Liam's hotel, he set down his phone with a smile that hadn't left his face since Amara's call. She wanted the anything else too. She was willing to explore whatever was growing between them. His hotel room door opened, and Vanessa walked in without knocking, a stack of papers in her arms. Sir, we need to discuss your return to San Francisco. The board is insisting. She stopped short when she saw his expression. What happened? She called, Liam said simply. Vanessa's professional mask slipped completely, revealing naked calculation in her eyes. The cleaning girl. Liam, you can't be serious. Do you know what this will do to your reputation? To the company? Her name is Amara, and yes, I'm completely serious. Liam's voice hardened. And I don't appreciate your tone. I'm trying to protect you, Vanessa insisted. This woman appears out of nowhere and suddenly you're creating medical foundations and job positions for her. Can't you see what's happening? She's using you. That's enough. Liam stood, his expression cold. Amara has never asked me for a thing. In fact, she's refused most of what I've offered. For now, just wait until... I said enough. Liam's voice was deadly quiet. You're fired, Vanessa. What? She paled. You can't be serious. I've never been more serious. Your belongings will be shipped to you. Your final paycheck and severance will be generous as befits your years of service. But this is the end of our professional relationship. Vanessa's shock turned to fury. You're making a mistake. That woman will ruin you. No, Liam said calmly. That woman might just save me. After Vanessa stormed out, Liam walked to the window, looking out at the Miami skyline. For the first time in years, he felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. His phone buzzed with a text from Amara. Thank you for everything. See you tomorrow. Liam smiled and typed his reply. Looking forward to it more than you know. Tomorrow couldn't come soon enough. But for now, knowing Amara was giving them a chance was everything he needed. What neither of them knew was that Vanessa wasn't done. As she stormed through the hotel lobby, she made a call. It's me. I need everything you can find on Amara Duval. Family, finances, history, everything. The boss has lost his mind and I need leverage. The game wasn't over. It was just beginning. Morning light filtered through the hospital blinds as Amara helped her grandmother eat breakfast. The older woman's hands trembled slightly, a lingering effect of the stroke, but her eyes were clear and alert. You're hovering, child. her grandmother said, waving Amara away. I'm not dead yet. Don't even joke about that, Grandma. Amara adjusted the pillows behind the older woman's head. The doctor says you're doing remarkably well. The rehabilitation specialist will be here this afternoon to discuss your recovery plan. All these doctors and specialists, her grandmother muttered. Who's paying for all this fancy care? Amara hesitated. She hadn't told her grandmother about Liam or the Castell Foundation. It's a special program. Don't worry about the cost. Her grandmother fixed her with a knowing look. There's something different about you. You're keeping secrets. I'm not. Don't lie to an old woman, her grandmother interrupted. I may have had a stroke, but my eyes still work. You've changed. There's a lightness to you I haven't seen in years. Before Amara could respond, her phone buzzed with a text. It was from Liam. Still on for coffee today? I can meet you at the hospital if that's easier. A smile spread across Amara's face before she could stop it. Ah, her grandmother said, noticing. A man is involved. It's complicated, Grandma. Love always is. The older woman reached for Amara's hand. Tell me about him. So Amara did, starting with boarding the wrong plane and ending with Liam's job offer and their planned meeting today. Her grandmother listened without interrupting, her expression thoughtful. This man flew you home on his private jet when I got sick? She asked when Amara finished. Amara nodded. And he's paying for my medical care? Through his foundation, Amara clarified. It's not direct charity, her grandmother smiled. He understands your pride, that's a good sign. It's not serious, Grandma, we barely know each other. Sometimes the heart knows what it wants before the head catches up. Her grandmother squeezed her hand. Don't let fear hold you back, child. You've sacrificed enough for this family. I don't regret a single day of caring for you and Marcus, Amara said firmly. I know, but it's time you had something for yourself too. Her grandmother's eyes were wise and gentle. Go meet your millionaire. I'll be fine here with my soap operas. Amara kissed her grandmother's forehead. I won't be long. Marcus will be here after his class. Take as long as you need, her grandmother replied with a knowing smile. Some conversations shouldn't be rushed. After making sure her grandmother was comfortable, Amara headed to the hospital cafe where she'd agreed to meet Liam. Her stomach fluttered with nerves. In the harsh light of day, away from the exotic paradise of the Maldives, would their connection still feel real? She spotted him as soon as she entered the cafe. Liam sat at a corner table, less formal than she'd seen him before, in jeans and a simple blue button-down shirt that made his eyes seem even more intense. He stood when he saw her, his face lighting up. Amara, he said, as if her name was something precious. Hi. She suddenly felt shy, unsure how to greet him. A handshake seemed too formal after everything they'd shared, but anything more intimate felt presumptuous. Liam solved the dilemma by gently taking her hand and leading her to the table. How's your grandmother today? Better, Amara said, settling into her chair. The doctors are impressed with her progress. I'm glad to hear it. Liam's thumb traced small circles on the back of her hand, sending tingles up her arm. And how are you? Tired, confused, grateful. Amara met his eyes. Thank you for what you did. The foundation, the care plan, it's more than I could have hoped for. It was the right thing to do. Most people don't go to such lengths to do the right thing. Liam's smile was soft. I'm not most people. No, Amara agreed. You're definitely not. They talked easily over coffee. The connection they'd formed during their unexpected journey still very much alive. Liam told her about firing Vanessa, about his plans to restructure his company leadership, about his growing desire to use his wealth for more meaningful pursuits. Meeting you changed something in me, he admitted. Made me question what I'd been working for all these years. We barely know each other, Amara reminded him, though her heart raced at his words. Sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes you just know. Liam leaned forward. I'd like to get to know you better, Amara. If you'll let me. The sincerity in his eyes made it impossible to doubt him, yet Amara still hesitated, years of self-preservation making her cautious. Our worlds are very different, Liam. What works in the bubble of a private jet or a tropical resort might not survive in real life. Then let's find out. He took both her hands in his. Have dinner with me tonight. A real date. No accidental kidnappings. No family emergencies. Just you and me, seeing if this is as real as I think it is. Amara wanted to say yes. Every part of her yearned to explore what was growing between them. But practicality intervened. I can't leave my grandmother alone her first night home. She's being discharged this evening. Then I'll come to you, Liam said without hesitation. I'll bring dinner to your place, nothing fancy, just good food and good company. His eagerness to accommodate her circumstances, to meet her in her world rather than insisting she enter his, touched Amara deeply. "Okay," she agreed. "Dinner at my place, but I should warn you, it's nothing like your penthouse or private island. We live in a small apartment in a not great neighborhood." "I don't care about that," Liam said simply. "I care about you." After finalizing plans for that evening, Amara returned to her grandmother's room with a lightness in her step that hadn't been there before. The prospect of seeing Liam again, of exploring their connection in the context of her real life, filled her with both excitement and trepidation. Marcus arrived shortly after, bringing their grandmother's favorite nightgown and slippers for her discharge. "So," he asked Amara while their grandmother was in the bathroom with a nurse, "how did coffee with Prince Charming go?" "He's coming over for dinner tonight," Amara admitted. Marcus's eyebrows shot up. "To our apartment, with the leaky faucet and the neighbor who plays mariachi music until midnight. I warned him it's not what he's used to." "And he still wants to come?" Amara nodded. "Damn," Marcus whistled low. "He must really like you. Or he's curious to see how the other half lives," Amara replied, though she didn't really believe that. Liam had proven himself different from what she'd expected of a wealthy tech CEO. "Well, I'll make myself scarce," Marcus offered. "Give you two some privacy. You don't have to do that, it's your home too. Trust me, sis, you don't want your little brother hanging around on your date with a hot billionaire." He grinned. "Besides, I've got study group tonight. We're prepping for finals." The rest of the day passed in a blur of discharge paperwork, getting their grandmother settled at home, and Amara's increasingly frantic attempts to make their modest apartment presentable for a visitor like Liam. "Stop fussing," her grandmother scolded from her recliner, where she was comfortably installed with her medications and a glass of water. "The man isn't coming to inspect your housekeeping." "I know, but—" Amara looked around their small living room with its mismatched furniture and worn carpet. "But nothing. If he judges you for where you live, he's not worth your time anyway." Her grandmother's tone softened. "A real man sees the person, not the possessions." At precisely 7 o'clock, there was a knock at the door. Amara took a deep breath, smoothed down her simple dress, the nicest one she owned, and opened the door. Liam stood there holding 2 large bags of takeout food and a bouquet of fresh flowers. He'd changed into dark jeans and a casual shirt, dressed down as if making an effort not to appear ostentatious in her neighborhood. "Hi," he said, his smile nervous but genuine. "Hi," Amara replied, suddenly shy again. "Come in." As Liam stepped into the apartment, Amara watched his face carefully for any sign of judgment or discomfort. There was none. Instead, his eyes were warm as he took in the modest space with its family photos and homey touches. "You must be Ms. Duval," he said, approaching Amara's grandmother with respect. "It's a pleasure to meet you. I've brought dinner for everyone. I hope that's okay." "Call me Eleanor," Amara's grandmother replied, assessing him with shrewd eyes. "And whether it's okay depends on what's in those bags. These old taste buds still work just fine." Liam laughed instantly at ease. "Italian from Vincenzo's. I heard it's the best in Miami." "You heard right," Eleanor said approvingly. "Amara, get some plates. This young man has good taste." Dinner was surprisingly comfortable. Liam sat on their worn couch, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, engaging Eleanor in conversation about her life, her grandchildren, her favorite TV shows. He listened with genuine interest to her stories, drawing her out with questions that showed he was truly paying attention. Amara watched them interact, a warm feeling spreading through her chest. Liam fit here, in her simple home, with her family. There was no awkwardness, no condescension, just a man getting to know the people who mattered to the woman he was interested in. After dinner, Eleanor announced she was tired and needed to rest. As Amara helped her to her bedroom, the older woman whispered, "He's a good one, Amara. Don't let your pride get in the way." When Amara returned to the living room, Liam was washing dishes at their small kitchen sink. "You don't have to do that," she protested. "I want to help," he said simply. "Your grandmother is amazing, by the way. I see where you get your strength. She likes you too." Amara picked up a dish towel and began drying the plates he washed. "I was worried this would be weird. You here, in my world, but it's not. Because this isn't about our worlds, Amara. It's about us." Liam handed her the last plate, then turned to face her. "I don't care where you live or what you do for a living. I care about who you are, your kindness, your strength, your loyalty to your family. That's what matters to me." The sincerity in his voice made her throat tight with emotion. "I've spent so long building walls to protect myself, to keep people at a distance. It's scary how easily you walked through them. Maybe because you were ready to let someone in. Liam gently tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Or maybe we were just meant to find each other, even if it took a mistaken plane boarding to make it happen. Amara laughed softly. That's a pretty romantic way to look at my epic workplace mistake. I'm feeling pretty romantic these days. His hand lingered on her cheek. May I kiss you, Amara? I've been wanting to since I first saw you in that coral sundress in the Maldives. Instead of answering, Amara stood on tiptoe and pressed her lips to his. The kiss was gentle at first, tentative, then deepened as Liam's arms encircled her waist, drawing her closer. It felt like coming home and embarking on an adventure all at once. When they finally pulled apart, both slightly breathless, Liam rested his forehead against hers. Definitely worth the wait. The moment was interrupted by the sound of keys in the front door. Marcus entered, then froze when he saw them. "Sorry," he said, backing toward the door. "I forgot my textbook. Don't mind me." "It's fine," Amara said, stepping back from Liam, her cheeks warm. "Marcus, this is Liam. Liam, my brother Marcus." The two men shook hands, sizing each other up. "So, you're the guy who kidnapped my sister on a private jet," Marcus said, his tone half joking, half serious. "Guilty as charged," Liam admitted, "though in my defense I thought she was the flight attendant. And now you're here, in our apartment, washing our dishes." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "That's quite a change of scenery from a luxury resort in the Maldives." "The company is better here," Liam replied smoothly. Marcus studied him for a moment longer, then nodded as if coming to a decision. "Good answer. Hurt my sister, though, and private jet or not, they'll never find your body." "Marcus!" Amara exclaimed, mortified, but Liam just laughed. "Message received, and I'd expect nothing less from someone who cares about her." After retrieving his textbook, Marcus left with a knowing wink at Amara. Once the door closed behind him, she turned to Liam with an apologetic expression. "I'm sorry about that. He's protective." "Don't apologize. I like that you have people who love you enough to threaten potential boyfriends." Liam took her hand. "Is that what I am? A potential boyfriend?" The term seemed absurdly inadequate for what was developing between them, yet Amara couldn't deny the thrill it gave her to hear him say it. "I think we're a bit beyond the potential stage after that kiss," she admitted. Liam's smile was radiant. "Good, because I'm definitely not interested in seeing anyone else." The rest of the evening passed in a pleasant blur of conversation and more kisses. Liam told her about his childhood, about the pressure from his father to follow a specific path, about his rebellion in starting his own company. Amara shared stories of her parents, of her dreams for the future, of her fears and hopes. When it was time for him to leave, neither wanted the night to end. "I have meetings tomorrow," Liam said reluctantly, "but I'm free the day after. Would you let me take you somewhere special? A proper date?" "I'd like that," Amara replied, "but I need to be home by evening for Grandma's therapy session. I'll have you home on time." He kissed her once more, lingering and sweet. "Good night, Amara." "Good night, Liam." After he left, Amara leaned against the closed door, her heart fuller than it had been in years. Something beautiful was blooming between them, something that felt real and substantial despite the whirlwind nature of their meeting. For the first time in a long time, Amara allowed herself to hope. The next morning, she woke to a text from Liam. "Missing you already. Can't wait for tomorrow." Her reply was simple but heartfelt. "Me too." She helped her grandmother with breakfast, administered her medications, and got her settled in the living room for her favorite morning show. The home health aide arrived at 9, a kind-faced woman named Rosita, who had been personally selected by the Castell Foundation program. "I'll be back by 3, Amara told her grandmother, kissing her cheek. "Rosita has my number if you need anything." "Go, child, live your life," her grandmother shooed her away. "Rosita and I will be just fine." Amara headed to Miami General to fill out the final paperwork for her grandmother's discharge and follow-up care. As she approached the billing department, she overheard raised voices coming from one of the offices. "I don't care what foundation approved it. I need verification of funds before we continue with the premium care package." The voice was sharp, administrative. "The funds have already been transferred. The Castell Foundation is completely legitimate." This voice was familiar. It was Dr. Chen, her grandmother's neurologist. "According to my research, the Castell Foundation for Medical Advancement didn't exist until 3 days ago," the administrator countered. "That raises red flags." Amara's blood ran cold. She stepped closer to the partially open door. "The foundation is new, yes, but it's properly registered and funded," Dr. Chen insisted. Mr. Castell himself has guaranteed the payments. Based on what? His interest in the patient's granddaughter? What happens when that interest wanes? We can't commit to 6 months of specialized care based on a billionaire's latest fling. Amara felt as if she'd been slapped. Is that what people thought? That she was Liam's latest fling, using her grandmother's condition to extract money from him? That's entirely inappropriate, Dr. Chen said coldly. The Foundation's funding is secure, regardless of any personal relationships. If you have legitimate concerns about the financial arrangements, take them up with the Foundation's attorneys. Unable to listen to more, Amara hurried away, her cheeks burning with humiliation. The administrator's words echoed in her mind. A billionaire's latest fling. Was that how the world would see her? As a gold digger who'd trapped a wealthy man into paying her family's medical bills? The thought made her physically ill. Her phone buzzed with a text from Liam. Just finished my meeting early, free for lunch? Amara stared at the message, unsure how to respond. Her instinct was to pull back, to protect herself from the judgment and suspicion their relationship would inevitably bring. But was that fair to Liam, to what they were building together? Before she could decide, another text came through. This one from an unknown number. You should know what you're getting into. Liam Castell has a pattern of rescuing women, then discarding them when he gets bored. Ask about Sophia Martinez and Claire Devereaux. Just looking out for you. A friend. Amara's hands trembled as she read the message. Who was this friend, and who were Sophia and Claire? Despite her better judgment, she found herself typing the names into a search engine, along with Liam's name. Several articles appeared immediately. Tech CEO Liam Castell splits from humanitarian girlfriend. Another one bites the dust. Castell and Devereaux call it quits. Pattern? Castell's ex claims he collects charity cases. With growing dread, Amara clicked on the first article. It detailed Liam's 6-month relationship with Sophia Martinez, a non-profit director whom he'd met at a fundraiser. According to the article, Liam had donated heavily to her organization, only to withdraw support after their breakup. The second article was about Claire Devereaux, a struggling artist whose career had skyrocketed after dating Liam. He'd introduced her to his wealthy connections, funded her first gallery showing, then allegedly dropped her when she began achieving success on her own. The final article quoted an anonymous ex. Liam likes to play the white knight. He finds women who need saving, helps them, then loses interest once they're standing on their own 2 feet. It's like he needs to be needed, and when that need diminishes, so does his attention. Amara felt sick. Was that what was happening with her? Had Liam seen her, a struggling woman with family responsibilities, as just another damsel to rescue, another project to make himself feel good? Her phone rang, Liam's name flashing on the screen. She let it go to voicemail, too confused and hurt to talk to him now. A moment later, a text. Everything okay? I'm worried about you. The genuine concern in his message made her doubt the articles. The Liam she knew, the man who'd respected her pride, who'd connected with her grandmother, who kissed her like she was precious, didn't seem like someone who collected and discarded women. But they'd known each other such a short time. How could she be sure who he really was? Gathering her courage, Amara typed a reply. Need some time to think. Talk tomorrow. His response was immediate. Did something happen? Please tell me. She couldn't bring herself to accuse him based on gossip articles and an anonymous text, but she also couldn't ignore the doubt now planted in her mind. Just family stuff, she lied. Nothing to worry about. See you tomorrow. The rest of the day passed in a haze of uncertainty. Amara went through the motions of her routine, picking up prescriptions, grocery shopping, checking in with the home health aide, while her mind churned with questions and fears. At home, she found her grandmother and Rosita engaged in gentle range-of-motion exercises, both laughing about something. There she is, her grandmother said when Amara entered. My granddaughter, the heartbreaker. What are you talking about, Grandma? Your young man called to check on me, very thoughtful. Eleanor's eyes twinkled. He also mentioned he's been trying to reach you all day. Guilt twisted in Amara's stomach. I've been busy. Too busy to answer a phone call from someone who flew you across the world and back. Her grandmother's gaze was knowing. What's wrong, child? You were glowing last night, and today you look like someone rained on your parade. After Rosita left for the day, Amara showed her grandmother the text and articles. The older woman read them carefully, her expression thoughtful. So you're pulling away based on gossip and an anonymous message? She finally asked. It's not just gossip, Grandma. These are published articles. About celebrities and their love lives, Eleanor scoffed. Since when do those tell the whole truth? But what if there is truth to it? What if I'm just his latest project? Her grandmother took her hand. Amara, look at me. I've lived a long time, met all kinds of people. That young man who sat in our living room last night, who looked at you like you hung the moon. He's not playing games. How can you be so sure? Because I recognize real when I see it. Eleanor squeezed her hand. But you don't have to take my word for it. Ask him yourself. What if I don't like his answers? Then you'll know. But hiding from the conversation is just fear talking. Her grandmother's eyes were gentle but firm. You've faced harder things than this, child. Don't let someone else's whispers rob you of what could be the best thing to happen to you. Amara knew her grandmother was right. She owed it to herself, and to Liam, to address her concerns directly rather than pulling away based on second-hand information. She picked up her phone and texted Liam, "Can we meet earlier tomorrow? We need to talk." His reply came instantly. "Name the time and place. I'll be there." That night, Amara slept fitfully, her dreams a confused jumble of Liam's smile, anonymous text messages, and snippets of tabloid headlines. She woke feeling unrested, but resolved to face whatever came next with honesty and courage. They'd agreed to meet at a quiet park near her apartment, neutral ground, away from the luxury of his world and the intimacy of hers. Amara arrived first, settling on a bench overlooking a small lake where ducks swam peacefully, untroubled by human drama. She sensed Liam's arrival before she saw him. Something in the air changed, charged with the awareness that had been between them from the beginning. He sat beside her, close but not touching, respecting the distance she'd established with her text. "What's wrong, Amara?" he asked without preamble. "And please don't say nothing or family stuff. Something changed yesterday, and I'd like to understand what." His directness was both challenging and refreshing. Amara took a deep breath and handed him her phone, open to the text message. Liam read it, his expression darkening. "Who sent this?" "I don't know, but I looked up the names." She met his eyes. "Did you date Sophia Martinez and Claire Devereaux?" "Yes," he admitted without hesitation. "Sophia about 2 years ago, Claire last year." "And did you rescue them, fund their projects, solve their problems, then leave when they didn't need you anymore?" Understanding dawned in Liam's eyes. "You read the tabloid stories. Are they true?" Liam was quiet for a moment, gathering his thoughts. "Parts of them. I did date both women. I did support their work. But the narrative that I left because they became independent." He shook his head. "That's not what happened." "Then what did happen?" "With Sophia, I believed in her non-profit's mission. I still do. I donated because the cause was worthy, not as some grand gesture to win her heart." Liam's voice was steady, honest. "We broke up because she wanted me to use my connections to influence a government contract in her favor, something ethically questionable. When I refused, she ended things. I continued funding her organization for 3 months after our breakup, until I discovered she was misappropriating funds. And Claire? Claire was talented, incredibly so. I introduced her to people in the art world because she deserved recognition." His expression grew sad, but success changed her. The woman I fell for, passionate, authentic, kind, disappeared into someone obsessed with status and connections. She broke up with me because, in her words, I was too boring for her new lifestyle. The sincerity in his voice was impossible to fake. Amara felt her doubts beginning to dissolve. "So, the anonymous quote about you needing to rescue women probably came from Melanie, my ex-fiancée." Liam ran a hand through his hair. "She's been bitter since I called off the wedding. Feeding rumors to the press would be her style." "I'm sorry," Amara said softly. "I should have talked to you first instead of reading gossip articles." "No, I'm glad you did. I want you to know who I am, Amara, the good and the bad." Liam took her hand cautiously. "Have I made mistakes in relationships?" "Absolutely. Have I sometimes been attracted to women who needed help? Maybe, but that's not why I'm here with you." "Why are you here then?" "Because from the moment you stood up to me on that plane, refusing to be intimidated by my wealth or position, I knew you were different." His eyes held hers, open and vulnerable. "You don't need me to rescue you, Amara. You're stronger than anyone I've ever met. You don't want my money or connections, you just want to be seen for who you are." He smiled softly. "And who you are is someone I'm falling in love with." The words hung between them, honest and raw. Amara's heart raced. "It's too soon for that," she whispered. "Too soon to say it, maybe. Not too soon to feel it." Liam traced her cheekbone with gentle fingers. "I don't expect you to say it back. I just want you to know where I stand. Amara leaned into his touch, her doubts melting away. I don't know what this is between us, Liam, but it scares me how much I already care about you. That's enough for me, he smiled. More than enough. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, the tension of the past day dissolving into renewed understanding. Can I ask who you think sent that text? Amara finally said. I have a pretty good idea. Liam's expression hardened slightly. Vanessa didn't take being fired well. She's always been protective and of my image and the company. In her mind, you're a complication. A cleaning lady dating the CEO, Amara said wryly. I can see why that would concern her. Former cleaning lady, Liam corrected. Future patient care coordinator and physical therapist if you take the job. About that, Amara hesitated. I overheard something at the hospital yesterday. The billing administrator questioning the legitimacy of the Castell Foundation, suggesting it was just created for me. It was, Liam admitted, but not in the way they implied. Meeting you made me realize I could do more with my resources than just accumulate wealth. The foundation is real, Amara. Properly registered, fully funded, with a board of directors and a mission statement. Your grandmother is the first beneficiary, but there will be others. So it's not just about me. It was inspired by you, Liam said truthfully. But it's grown beyond that. Sometimes the right person comes along at the right time and changes your perspective on everything. He squeezed her hand. You did that for me. Any lingering doubt in Amara's mind vanished. The man before her wasn't playing games or looking for a project. He was someone whose life had intersected with hers in the most unlikely way, creating something neither of them had expected, but both now treasured. So, Liam said, his smile returning. Are we still on for that date today? Definitely, Amara replied. Where are we going? It's a surprise, but I promise you'll like it. The surprise turned out to be a visit to the Miami Physical Therapy Institute, one of the most prestigious rehabilitation centers in the country. Liam had arranged for them to meet with the director, Dr. Hernandez, who was a leading expert in stroke recovery. Mr. Castell mentioned your interest in physical therapy, Dr. Hernandez told Amara, as he showed them around the state-of-the-art facility, and your grandmother's condition. I'd be happy to discuss both, our treatment approaches for stroke patients and our educational programs. Amara's eyes widened. Educational programs? Yes. We partner with local universities for internships and have our own certification courses. Dr. Hernandez smiled. Mr. Castell mentioned you might be interested in pursuing a career in this field. Amara glanced at Liam, who looked slightly sheepish. I might have mentioned your dreams to Dr. Hernandez when I set this up. The thoughtfulness of the gesture, arranging something educational and career-focused rather than an extravagant display of wealth, touched Amara deeply. This was a man who listened, who paid attention to what truly mattered to her. The afternoon was enlightening and inspiring. Amara absorbed everything Dr. Hernandez shared, asking thoughtful questions that impressed both the doctor and Liam. By the end of the visit, she had information about certification programs, university courses, and potential career paths. The foundation is always looking for talented people, Dr. Hernandez mentioned as they were leaving, especially those with personal experience caring for family members. It brings a valuable perspective to patient care. Thank you, Amara said sincerely. This has been incredibly helpful. In the car afterward, she turned to Liam. That wasn't what I was expecting for a date. Disappointed? He asked, a hint of uncertainty in his voice. The opposite. Amara leaned over and kissed him softly. It was perfect. You saw what would really matter to me, not what would impress me. That's the whole point, isn't it? Seeing the real person, not just the surface. The rest of their date was more conventional. A late lunch at a waterfront restaurant, a walk along the bay, shared ice cream cones as the afternoon sun painted everything golden. Throughout it all, Amara felt a growing certainty that what they were building together was real and valuable. As promised, Liam had her home in time for her grandmother's therapy session. He walked her to the door of her apartment building, both reluctant for the day to end. I have to fly to San Francisco tomorrow, he said. Board meetings I can't reschedule, but I'll be back in 3 days. I'll be here, Amara promised, studying those course catalogs you got me. I'll call you every day. You'd better. She rose on tiptoe to kiss him goodbye, lingering in the warmth and rightness of his embrace. Neither noticed the sleek car parked across the street or the camera lens capturing their intimate moment. Neither saw the satisfied smile of the photographer as he sent the images to his client with a simple message. Got them. In her hotel room across town, Vanessa received the photos with grim satisfaction. "Perfect," she murmured, forwarding them to another contact. "Let's see how the board reacts to their CEO's new romance with the help." The stage was set for a final confrontation, one that would test not only Liam and Amara's new relationship, but also the very foundations of the lives they were trying to build together. As promised, Liam called Amara every day while in San Francisco. They talked for hours about everything and nothing: her progress with the course applications, his frustrating board meetings, her grandmother's improving condition, his plans for the foundation's expansion. "I miss you," he told her on the third night, "more than I thought possible after knowing someone such a short time." "I miss you too," Amara admitted, curled up in her bed with the phone pressed to her ear. "The apartment feels empty without you visiting. I'll be back tomorrow. Dinner at your place again?" "Actually, I was thinking—" Amara hesitated, then pushed through her nervousness. "Maybe I could come to your hotel, see a bit of your world for a change?" Liam's voice warmed. "I'd like that. A lot. It's a date, then." The next day, Amara found herself standing in the lobby of the Four Seasons, feeling distinctly out of place among the wealthy guests and polished surroundings. She'd worn her best dress, a simple blue wrap style that Marcus assured her looked elegant, but still felt conspicuous as the staff's eyes tracked her movement through the lobby. Liam had texted that he was running a few minutes late, stuck in a final meeting. Amara waited nervously, trying to ignore the curious glances from the hotel staff. "Excuse me, miss?" A suited man approached, his expression professionally blank. "Can I help you?" The implication was clear. She didn't look like she belonged here. Amara straightened her spine. "I'm meeting Liam Castell," she said with more confidence than she felt. "He's expecting me." The man's demeanor changed instantly. "Of course, Ms. Duval. Mr. Castell mentioned you would be arriving. Please follow me to the private elevator." As they crossed the lobby, Amara noticed a familiar figure watching from near the hotel bar. Vanessa, her expression cold and calculating. Their eyes met briefly before Vanessa turned away, speaking urgently into her phone. The encounter left Amara unsettled as she rode the elevator to the penthouse level. The doors opened directly into Liam's suite, a sprawling space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Miami skyline. "Amara?" Liam's voice called from another room. "I'll be right there. Make yourself comfortable." Amara wandered to the windows, taking in the breathtaking view of the city bathed in early evening light. This was Liam's world, exclusive, luxurious, set apart from the ordinary concerns of people like her. Could she ever truly fit into it? Did she even want to? "Sorry about that," Liam said, emerging from what appeared to be a home office. He looked tired but happy to see her, crossing the room quickly to gather her in his arms. "The meeting ran long. Important business?" Amara asked, melting into his embrace. "Nothing that can't wait." He kissed her softly. "You look beautiful." Before she could respond, his phone rang with an insistent tone. Liam glanced at it with a frown. "It's the board chairman. I should take this." "Of course." Liam answered the call, his expression quickly shifting from annoyance to concern. "What photos?" he asked, stepping away from Amara. "When were these sent?" He listened for a moment, his jaw tightening. "That's completely inappropriate. My personal life is not board business." After a tense exchange, he ended the call, turning back to Amara with a troubled expression. "What's wrong?" she asked. "Someone sent photos of us to the entire board. Photos of us kissing outside your apartment." Liam ran a hand through his hair. "Along with a dossier about your family's financial situation, your grandmother's medical care, the foundation, all presented to suggest I'm being manipulated or extorted somehow." "Vanessa," Amara said quietly. "Almost certainly." Liam's expression was grim. "She's trying to undermine me by attacking you. Why would the board care who you date? They don't, normally. But with the recent turbulence, me disappearing to the Maldives, creating a new foundation, firing my longtime assistant, they're looking for signs that I'm unstable or making poor decisions." The implications settled heavily between them. Their relationship, still new and tender, was being weaponized against Liam's career and reputation. "What happens now?" Amara asked. "Now," Liam said, determination replacing the concern in his eyes. "We enjoy our evening together. Tomorrow I deal with Vanessa and the board." "Are you sure we could postpone?" "Absolutely not." Liam took her hands in his. "I refuse to let anyone dictate my personal life, Amara. Not my father, not my board, and certainly not Vanessa." His conviction steadied her. This was the man she was falling for, principled, determined, unwilling to be manipulated. The evening that followed was magical, despite the shadow hanging over them. Liam had arranged for dinner to be served on the penthouse balcony. The city lights spread below them like a carpet of stars. They talked, laughed, shared dreams and fears, growing closer with each passing hour. When the meal was finished, they stood at the railing, Liam's arm around Amara's waist as they gazed at the nighttime skyline. "I love you, Amara," he said quietly. "I know it's fast. I know it doesn't make logical sense, but I've never been more certain of anything in my life." Amara turned in his arms, looking up into his eyes. All her doubts, all her fears about their different worlds and backgrounds seemed to melt away in the face of this simple truth. "I love you too," she whispered, the words feeling right, necessary, and it terrifies me how much. Their kiss was deeper this time, filled with promise and growing passion. It was Amara who finally pulled back, breathless. "I should go," she said reluctantly. "Grandma's night nurse leaves at 11. Liam nodded, understanding as always. "I'll take you home." In the elevator down to the lobby, he held her close. "Whatever happens tomorrow with the board, with Vanessa, it doesn't change anything between us. You know that, right?" "I know," Amara said, though a small part of her wondered if it could really be that simple. The lobby was quieter now, the late hour having thinned the crowd. As they crossed toward the exit, a voice called out, "Well, if it isn't the happy couple." Vanessa stood by the concierge desk, clearly waiting for them. Her smile was sharp, dangerous. "Not now, Vanessa," Liam said coldly. "Oh, but I think now is perfect." She approached, eyes fixed on Amara. "I was just curious to meet the woman who managed what no one else could, getting Liam Castell to open not just his heart but his checkbook too." "That's enough," Liam warned, his voice hard. "Is it?" Vanessa turned to Amara. "Did he tell you about the emergency board meeting tomorrow? The one where they're discussing his mental fitness to continue as CEO?" She smiled viciously. "All because he's become obsessed with a cleaning lady he met a week ago." Amara felt sick, but refused to show weakness. "I know exactly what you're doing, and it won't work. What I'm doing is protecting a company and a man I've served loyally for years." Vanessa's mask of professionalism slipped completely. "He may be blinded by whatever spell you've cast, but the board isn't. They see exactly what this is, a calculated play for wealth and position." "You don't know anything about me or my relationship with Liam," Amara said steadily. "I know gold diggers when I see them, honey. And your textbook," Vanessa's eyes gleamed with malice. "First the grandmother's medical care, then the job offer, now private dinners in the penthouse. What's next? A ring? A prenup you'll fight tooth and nail?" Liam stepped forward, his expression thunderous. "You're fired, Vanessa. And this time, there's no severance package. Security will escort you from the premises immediately." As if on cue, 2 security guards appeared. Vanessa laughed bitterly. "You'll regret this, Liam. When she's bled you dry and moved on to her next target, you'll remember I tried to warn you." As the guards led her away, Vanessa called back, "Enjoy the board meeting tomorrow. I hear they have quite a presentation prepared." In the car afterward, Amara was quiet, Vanessa's words echoing in her mind, not because she believed them, but because she feared others would. "Don't let her get to you," Liam said, squeezing her hand. "She's lashing out because she's lost control. It's not just her, Liam. It's what she represents. What everyone in your world will think when they see us together." Amara turned to him. "I don't want to be the reason you lose your company. You won't be. The board can't remove me without cause, and dating someone they don't approve of isn't cause." His voice softened. "Besides, the company isn't what matters to me anymore. Not the way you do. Don't say that. You've worked too hard to build it. Maybe. But what's the point of success if you can't share it with someone who matters?" Liam brought her hand to his lips. "I've spent years chasing the next deal, the next milestone. It took accidentally kidnapping you to make me realize what I really want, which is a life that means something, connection, love." His eyes held hers. "You." Outside her apartment building, Liam kissed her goodnight with a promise to call after the board meeting the next day. Amara watched his car drive away, her heart both full and anxious. Inside, she found Marcus waiting up, his expression concerned. "Everything okay?" he asked. "You look worried." Amara sank onto the couch beside him. "Liam's having trouble with his board because of me. His ex-assistant is trying to make it look like I'm using him for his money." "That's ridiculous," Marcus scoffed. "Anyone who spends 5 minutes with you two can see it's real." "But that's just it. These people haven't spent 5 minutes with us. They only see what makes sense to them, a wealthy CEO being taken advantage of by a woman from the wrong side of town." Marcus was quiet for a moment. So, what are you going to do about it? I don't know, Amara admitted. Part of me wants to walk away to save him from all this drama, but you love him, Marcus finished for her. She nodded. Then fight for him, Marcus said simply. The way you've always fought for me and Grandma. As Amara went to bed that night, her brother's words stayed with her. She'd never backed down from a challenge when it came to protecting her family. Maybe it was time to show the same courage for her own heart. The next morning, Amara made a decision. She wouldn't hide in the shadows while others tried to define her relationship with Liam. She would face the situation head-on. After ensuring her grandmother was comfortable with Rosita, Amara dressed carefully in her most professional outfit, a navy skirt and matching blazer she'd worn to job interviews. She pulled her hair back in a neat bun and applied minimal makeup. "Where are you going looking so official?" her grandmother asked. "To fight for something that matters," Amara replied, kissing the older woman's cheek. "Wish me luck." The Castell Technologies headquarters occupied the top floors of a gleaming downtown skyscraper. Amara took a deep breath before entering the lobby, approaching the security desk with more confidence than she felt. "I'm here to see Liam Castell," she told the receptionist. "My name is Amara Duval." The receptionist checked her screen. "I don't see an appointment, Ms. Duval." "He's not expecting me," Amara admitted. "But it's important." After a brief phone consultation, the receptionist handed Amara a visitor badge. "Mr. Castell is in a board meeting on the 40th floor. His executive assistant said you can wait in his office." The elevator ride to the executive floor gave Amara time to gather her thoughts. She wasn't entirely sure what she planned to do, only that she needed to be here, to stand beside Liam, rather than let others define their relationship in his absence. Liam's assistant, a young man who had replaced Vanessa, greeted her warmly. "Ms. Duval, I'm Jake. Mr. Castell mentioned you might stop by sometime." He gestured to a comfortable seating area. "The board meeting is running long, but he should be finished soon." "Actually," Amara said, making a split-second decision, "I'd like to speak to the board. Is that possible?" Jake looked startled. "They're in a closed session discussing sensitive matters." "I know what they're discussing," Amara interrupted gently. "Me. And I think I deserve the chance to speak for myself." Jake hesitated, then nodded. "Wait here. I'll see what I can do." He disappeared down the hallway toward the boardroom. Amara stood waiting, her heart pounding but her resolve firm. This wasn't just about her relationship with Liam anymore. It was about standing up for herself, refusing to be reduced to a stereotype or a scandal. A few minutes later, Jake returned, looking surprised. "They've agreed to see you. This way, please." The boardroom was intimidating. A long table surrounded by serious-faced men and women in expensive suits, with Liam at the head. His expression when he saw Amara was a mixture of surprise, concern, and pride. "Ms. Duval," the older man at the opposite end of the table said, "I'm Charles Whitmore, chairman of the board. This is unusual, but we've agreed to hear what you have to say." Amara took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Thank you, Mr. Whitmore. I understand you've been discussing concerns about my relationship with Liam and its potential impact on this company." "That's correct," Whitmore acknowledged. "Certain information has been brought to our attention by a disgruntled former employee with a personal vendetta," Amara finished for him. "Information designed to paint me as a gold digger, taking advantage of your CEO." A murmur ran around the table. Amara continued, her voice steady. "I'm not here to defend my relationship with Liam. That's private, between us. I'm here to address the concerns you have about my influence on his business decisions." She looked each board member in the eye. "The Castell Foundation for Medical Advancement is not a vanity project created for my benefit. Yes, my grandmother is a beneficiary, but the Foundation's mission extends far beyond one patient." She handed Jake a folder she'd prepared that morning. "These are my qualifications for the patient care coordinator position I've been offered. My previous healthcare experience, my education plans, and letters of recommendation from former employers. I don't want or need special treatment. I'm fully qualified for this role." The board members looked through the materials, expressions thoughtful. "As for my relationship with Liam," Amara continued, "it began in unusual circumstances, yes, but it's based on mutual respect and shared values. I have never asked him for money. I've never sought to influence his business decisions, and I have no interest in his wealth beyond the good it can do for people who need help. Like my grandmother, yes, but also like thousands of others who could benefit from innovative healthcare initiatives." She turned to Liam, whose eyes shone with emotion. "Liam is more than his company or his money. He's a man with a vision for making the world better, If that vision now includes healthcare and community support alongside technology, that's not my influence. It's his growth as a leader and a human being. The boardroom was silent when she finished. Chairman Whitmore cleared his throat. Thank you, Ms. Duval. That was illuminating. Would you mind waiting outside while we continue our discussion? Amara nodded and left the room, her legs shaky but her head high. She'd said what needed to be said. The rest was up to Liam and the board. The wait seemed endless. Amara sat in Liam's office, alternating between confidence in her actions and fear that she'd made everything worse. What if the board saw her appearance as further evidence of inappropriate influence? Finally, the door opened, and Liam entered, his expression unreadable. "Well?" Amara asked, rising to her feet. A slow smile spread across Liam's face. "You," he said, crossing the room to take her hands, "are the most amazing woman I've ever met. So it went okay?" "Better than okay. Your speech changed everything." Whitmore actually apologized for entertaining Vanessa's accusations. Liam shook his head in wonder. "You walked into a room full of some of the most powerful people in tech and completely owned it." Relief washed over Amara. "So your position is secure?" "More than secure. The board has fully endorsed the foundation and my leadership." Liam pulled her close. "But even if they hadn't, even if they'd forced me out, it would have been worth it." "Don't say that. It's true." He cupped her face in his hands. "What good is all this if I can't share it with someone who sees the real me? Not the CEO, not the bank account, just me." Amara's heart swelled with love for this man who valued her courage and strength as much as she valued his kindness and vision. "So, what happens now?" she asked. "Now?" Liam smiled. "Now, we build something together. A relationship, a foundation, a future, whatever we want it to be." As they left the office together, hand in hand, Amara felt a sense of rightness, of coming home. Their journey had begun with a mistake, boarding the wrong plane, but had led them exactly where they were meant to be. What neither of them noticed was the small private jet taking off from Miami International Airport, carrying Vanessa to New York with a flash drive full of company secrets and a vendetta that was far from satisfied. The battle for their happiness had been won, but the war was just beginning. 3 months had passed since Amara's confrontation with the board. Spring had given way to the heat of Miami summer, bringing changes as dramatic as the shift in seasons. Amara stood in front of the mirror in her new apartment, adjusting the collar of her professional blouse. The Castell Foundation logo was embroidered subtly on the pocket, a pair of wings with a heart in the center. Today marked her 3rd week as a full-time patient care coordinator, a job she'd earned through merit rather than connection. "You look like a boss lady," Marcus said, leaning against the doorframe of her bedroom. "Hard to believe this is the same sister who used to clean private jets." Amara smiled at her brother's reflection. Same sister, different circumstances. The new apartment was a compromise Amara had finally accepted. Not the luxury high-rise Liam had initially suggested, but a comfortable 3-bedroom in a safe neighborhood with room for both her grandmother and Marcus. The rent was reasonable, covered entirely by Amara's new salary, allowing her to maintain her independence while providing a better environment for her family. "Grandma's already in the community room downstairs," Marcus reported. "Her new friends are teaching her to play poker. I think she's hustling them." Amara laughed. "Probably. Her mind gets sharper every day." The rehabilitation had worked wonders, with Eleanor now walking with just a cane and her speech fully recovered. "You sure you don't want me to drive you today?" Marcus offered. "It's a big day." "I'm sure Liam's sending a car." Amara gathered her portfolio. "How's the internship going?" Pride lit up Marcus's face. "Amazing. The coding team at Castell Tech is incredible. I'm learning more there than I ever did in class." When Liam had offered Marcus a summer internship in the company's software division, Amara had initially resisted. Another favor, another complication. But Marcus had applied through the proper channels, interviewed like any other candidate, and earned the position through his own merits. Amara's phone buzzed with a text. "Car is downstairs. Good luck today. I believe in you. Love, L." The simple message warmed her heart. 3 months together, and Liam still found ways to support her dreams while respecting her need for independence. "That's my ride," she told Marcus. "Wish me luck." "You don't need luck," he replied, giving her a quick hug. "You've got this." The sleek company car delivered Amara to Miami General Hospital, where the Castell Foundation was opening its first dedicated stroke rehabilitation center. As project coordinator, Amara had been instrumental in its development, drawing on her personal experience with her grandmother to create a facility that treated patients with both cutting-edge technology and genuine compassion. Dr. Chen greeted her in the lobby. "The press is already here," he warned. "And the board members. Are you ready?" Amara took a deep breath. "As ready as I'll ever be." The new center occupied an entire wing of the hospital's east building. Amara had overseen every detail, from the equipment selection to the staff training, to the warm, calming color scheme of the patient rooms. This wasn't just a job for her. It was personal, a way to ensure other families had the support hers had received. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was scheduled for 10 a.m., with Liam and the hospital director doing the honors. Amara preferred to stay behind the scenes, proud of the work, but uncomfortable with public attention. As she made her final checks of the facility, her phone rang with an unfamiliar New York number. "Amara Duval," she answered professionally. "Ms. Duval, this is Gloria Martinez from the New York Times." The woman's voice was brisk, journalistic. "I'm working on a story about Castell Technologies and was hoping to get your comment." Amara frowned. "My comment? I don't work for Castell Technologies. I'm with the foundation." "Yes, but given your relationship with Liam Castell and the recent allegations made by former executive Vanessa Ward, I thought you might want to respond." Amara's blood ran cold. "What allegations?" "Ms. Ward has provided documentation suggesting the Castell Foundation was created improperly, specifically to benefit your family, representing a misuse of company resources. She's also alleging that your relationship with Mr. Castell compromised his business judgment and damaged shareholder value." The room seemed to tilt. Vanessa had finally made her move, and on today of all days. "Ms. Martinez," Amara said, keeping her voice steady, "I have no comment at this time. This is the first I'm hearing of these allegations. I suggest you contact the Castell Technologies legal department." "But surely you—" "No comment," Amara repeated firmly, ending the call. Her hands trembled as she dialed Liam's number. He answered immediately. "Hey, beautiful, I'm on my way to the hospital now." "Liam, we have a problem." Amara quickly explained the call from the reporter. There was a brief silence. Then Liam said, "I've been expecting something like this. Vanessa's been in New York meeting with our competitors. My security team has been tracking her movements." "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because today is your day," Liam said simply. "The center opening, all your hard work coming to fruition." I didn't want to overshadow that with corporate drama. Amara's heart swelled at his consideration, even as her mind raced with worry. "What do we do now?" "Now? Nothing changes. We open the center as planned. My legal team will handle Vanessa's allegations." His voice softened. "Don't let her take this moment from you, Amara. You've earned it." He was right, of course. This day wasn't about Vanessa or corporate politics. It was about helping stroke patients and their families. About turning personal struggle into positive change. "You're right," Amara said, resolve strengthening her voice. "I'll see you soon." By the time Liam arrived, the hospital lobby was crowded with reporters, medical professionals, and foundation donors. His eyes found Amara immediately, a private smile passing between them before they assumed their professional roles. The ceremony proceeded as planned, with the hospital director praising the foundation's vision and Liam speaking briefly about the importance of accessible care. When it came time for the ribbon cutting, Liam surprised everyone by calling Amara forward. "This center exists because of one person's dedication and insight," he told the crowd. "Amara Duval has been the heart and soul of this project from its conception. It's only fitting that she should be the one to officially open the doors." Caught off guard, Amara stepped forward, accepting the ceremonial scissors. As cameras flashed, she cut the blue ribbon, officially opening the rehabilitation center that had become her passion. The crowd applauded, but Amara noticed several reporters huddled together, whispering and glancing her way. The New York Times journalist had clearly spread word of Vanessa's allegations. After the ceremony, as guests toured the facility, Liam pulled Amara into a quiet consultation room. "You were amazing," he said, pride evident in his voice. "The reporters know something," Amara replied, worry creasing her brow. "I could see them talking, watching me." Liam nodded grimly. "My PR team just forwarded me the Times request for comment. Vanessa's going all in. Allegations of financial impropriety, conflict of interest, even suggesting our relationship began before your accidental boarding of my jet." "She's trying to make it look like I planned the whole thing," Amara realized, anger rising. "Like I deliberately targeted you for your money." No one who knows you would believe that for a second. But the public doesn't know me, Liam. They'll see what fits their expectations. A wealthy CEO manipulated by a woman from the wrong side of the tracks. Liam took her hands. Then we fight this together, with the truth. Before Amara could respond, there was a knock at the door. Jake, Liam's assistant, entered with an urgent expression. Sir, the Times is running the story in tomorrow's paper. They've given us 2 hours to provide an official statement. Liam's jaw tightened. Tell legal to prepare our response, and get me everything we have on Vanessa's activities since her termination. After Jake left, Amara sank into a chair, the joy of the center opening now overshadowed by Vanessa's vendetta. I'm so sorry, she said quietly. I never meant to bring this kind of trouble into your life. This isn't your fault, Liam insisted, kneeling before her. Vanessa is lashing out because she lost control over me, over the company, over her own position. This is about her, not us. But it affects us. It affects the foundation, the good work we're trying to do. Only if we let it. Liam's eyes were steady, determined. Amara, when I met you, I was flying away from problems rather than facing them. You taught me to stand and fight for what matters. His words stirred something in Amara, the same fighting spirit that had carried her through years of family hardship. You're right, she said, straightening. We face this head on. They returned to the event, both putting on brave faces as they guided donors through the new facility. Amara was explaining the specialized therapy equipment when she noticed her grandmother enter the room, leaning on her cane but walking unaided otherwise. Grandma, Amara hurried over. What are you doing here? I thought you were playing poker. And miss my granddaughter's big day? Eleanor scoffed. Not a chance. She looked around the rehabilitation center approvingly. You did this, child. You made something good from our struggle. Tears pricked Amara's eyes. We had help. Yes, we did, Eleanor agreed, her gaze finding Liam across the room. That's a good man you found. The best, Amara agreed softly. The moment of peace was broken by a commotion at the entrance. A woman was arguing with security, her voice carrying across the room. The public has a right to know. This entire foundation is built on lies. Vanessa. Amara's stomach dropped as Liam crossed quickly to the entrance, his expression thunderous. Security was restraining Vanessa, who had somehow gained access to the event, despite being on the banned list. You can't silence me, Liam, Vanessa shouted, clearly playing to the reporters who were now recording the scene. The world deserves to know how you've misused company resources for your girlfriend and her family. Get her out of here, Liam ordered security, his voice cold. But the damage was done. Reporters were already approaching, questions flying. Mr. Castell, is it true the foundation was created specifically for Ms. Duval's grandmother? Ms. Duval, did you intentionally board Mr. Castell's jet as part of a plan to gain his attention? Is there any truth to allegations that foundation funds have been misappropriated? Eleanor stepped forward, her frail frame somehow commanding immediate attention. Young people these days, she said loudly, her voice cutting through the chaos. Always looking for scandal where there's only decency. The reporters turned to her, surprised by this unexpected intervention. Ma'am, are you Eleanor Duval, the first patient of the Castell Foundation? One asked. I am, Eleanor confirmed, and I'd like to tell you a story. The true story, not that nonsense that angry woman was spouting. With remarkable clarity and poise, Eleanor recounted the real events. Amara's accidental boarding of the jet, Liam's compassion during her stroke, the Foundation's legitimate establishment, and the help it had already provided to dozens of other patients beyond their family. My granddaughter has worked her entire adult life caring for others, Eleanor concluded. She's never taken a handout in her life. The idea that she schemed to trap a wealthy man is not just false, it's insulting to a woman who has more integrity in her little finger than most people have in their entire bodies. The reporters were captivated, scribbling notes and recording Eleanor's every word. Amara watched in amazement as her grandmother single-handedly shifted the narrative away from scandal and toward the truth. Liam stepped forward then, his presence commanding respect. The Castell Foundation was established with proper corporate governance and board approval. Every financial transaction has been transparent and legitimate. Ms. Ward's allegations are the desperate actions of a disgruntled former employee. He nodded to Jake, who distributed flash drives to the reporters. These contain the Foundation's complete financial records, board minutes approving its establishment, and documentation of all patients served to date. We have nothing to hide. The press conference that followed was a masterclass in crisis management. Liam and his team addressed every allegation head-on, providing evidence that systematically dismantled Vanessa's claims. Amara stood beside him, answering questions about her role with quiet dignity. By the end, the narrative had shifted dramatically. Instead of a scandal, the reporters now had a story of redemption and purpose. A successful CEO finding meaning beyond profit, inspired by an unexpected connection with a woman of exceptional character. As the event finally wound down, Amara found herself emotionally exhausted but relieved. She sat with her grandmother in a quiet corner of the center, both watching as Liam wrapped up final interviews. "You were incredible," Amara told Eleanor. "I had no idea you could handle the press like that. I've watched enough soap operas to know how these things work," her grandmother replied with a wink. "The truth always comes out in the end." Liam joined them, loosening his tie with a tired smile. "Your grandmother saved the day," he told Amara. "The Times is completely reframing their story. Instead of scandal, they're focusing on the Foundation's mission and early successes." "And Vanessa?" Amara asked. "Being escorted from the premises by security and likely facing legal consequences. The documents she took when she left constitute corporate espionage." Eleanor patted Liam's hand. "You're a good man, Liam Castell, even if you did accidentally kidnap my granddaughter." Liam laughed, the tension of the day finally breaking. "Best mistake I ever made." Later that evening, after ensuring Eleanor was comfortably settled at home with Marcus, Amara and Liam escaped to the quiet of his penthouse. They stood on the balcony, the Miami skyline twinkling below them as the stress of the day slowly melted away. "I'm proud of you," Liam said, wrapping his arms around her from behind. "The way you handled everything today, the center opening, Vanessa's ambush, the press, you were magnificent." Amara leaned back against his chest. "I had a good teacher when it comes to handling pressure. You never lost your cool, even when she was screaming accusations. I had something worth fighting for." He kissed her temple softly. "The Foundation, yes, but mostly you. Us." "Us," Amara repeated, savoring the word. 3 months ago, the idea of being part of an us with someone like Liam would have seemed impossible. Now it felt like the most natural thing in the world. "I've been thinking," Liam said, a note of hesitation in his voice. "Today showed me something important." "What's that?" "That I can fight battles in Miami and still run my company. That I don't have to choose between business and the life I want." Amara turned in his arms. "That sounds like a good realization." "It is, but it's also made me think about what I really want moving forward." Liam's eyes were serious, searching hers. "The truth is, Amara, I want a partnership, a real one, where both of us pursue our dreams while supporting each other. Isn't that what we're doing?" "Yes, but..." He took a deep breath. "I want more. I want a future with you, a life together." Amara's heart quickened. "Are you proposing?" "Not yet," Liam said with a smile. "When I do that, trust me, you'll know. But I am asking if you see us heading in that direction, if that's something you want too." The question deserved honest consideration. Amara thought about their journey, from accidental meeting to genuine connection, from different worlds to a shared vision. She thought about how Liam had never tried to change her, only to support her being fully herself. "I do want that," she said finally. "But I'm not ready yet, Liam. I need to establish myself first in my career, in my independence. I need to know that when we take that step, it's as equals, even if our bank accounts never will be." Instead of disappointment, Liam's face showed understanding and respect. "That's exactly why I love you, Amara Duval. You know who you are and what you need." He kissed her softly. "I can wait. Building something that lasts is worth waiting for." The following weeks brought a new rhythm to their lives. The Times article, when it finally ran, portrayed the Foundation in a positive light, with only brief mention of Vanessa's allegations, presented as the unsubstantiated claims of a former employee. Vanessa herself had disappeared from public view, reportedly taking a position with a rival tech firm in Silicon Valley. Amara threw herself into her work at the Foundation, developing new programs for stroke patients and their families. The experience with her grandmother had given her insights that medical professionals valued, and her natural empathy made her an effective advocate for patients' needs. Liam divided his time between San Francisco and Miami, maintaining his leadership of Castell Technologies while supporting the Foundation's growth. When in Miami, he spent evenings with Amara and her family, becoming a natural part of their close-knit unit. Marcus looked up to him as a mentor, and Eleanor treated him like the grandson she'd never had. Summer turned to fall, bringing with it new opportunities and challenges. The foundation expanded to a second location in Orlando, and Amara was offered the role of regional director, a significant promotion that recognized her contributions and leadership. "You should take it," Liam encouraged when she shared the news. "You've more than earned it." "It would mean more responsibility, more travel," Amara pointed out. "Less time together." "We'll make it work," he assured her. "This is your dream, Amara. I want you to follow it, wherever it leads." His unconditional support touched her deeply. This was what true partnership looked like, each encouraging the other's growth even when it meant personal sacrifice. Amara accepted the position, and the following months were a whirlwind of activity. She developed new programs, hired staff, and built relationships with medical facilities across Florida. Her days were filled with meaningful work, her evenings with the people she loved. For the first time in her life, Amara felt truly fulfilled, both professionally and personally. As the one-year anniversary of their unusual meeting approached, Liam suggested a weekend getaway. Nothing elaborate, he promised, knowing Amara's preference for simplicity over extravagance. "Just a chance to relax and celebrate how far we've come." Amara agreed readily. Between her expanded role at the foundation and Liam's company responsibilities, quality time together had become precious. The morning of their departure, Liam arrived at her apartment with a mysterious smile. "Where exactly are we going?" Amara asked, noticing he hadn't brought his usual weekend bag. "It's a surprise," he replied, "but I think you'll approve." The car took them not to the private airstrip as Amara had expected, but to Miami International Airport's main terminal. "Commercial flight?" she asked, surprised. "Not exactly." Understanding dawned as they were escorted to a familiar private hangar. There, gleaming in the morning sun, was the same jet that had changed their lives a year ago. "Seriously?" Amara laughed. "You're recreating our accidental kidnapping?" "With one key difference," Liam said, taking her hand. "This time you're boarding on purpose." The interior of the jet was exactly as Amara remembered, luxurious but tasteful, designed for comfort during long flights. As they settled into the plush seats, memories of their first journey together flooded back. "I was so angry at you," she recalled, smiling at the memory. "Convinced you were some entitled rich guy who thought I was the help." "You weren't entirely wrong," Liam admitted. "I was entitled in many ways. You changed that." "We changed each other," Amara corrected, squeezing his hand. As the jet taxied for takeoff, Amara realized she still didn't know their destination. "Are you going to tell me where we're going?" "Where do you think?" Liam's eyes sparkled with mischief. The answer came to her immediately. "The Maldives. The scene of our first real day together," he confirmed. "I thought it fitting for our anniversary." The journey was a stark contrast to their first flight. Instead of tension and uncertainty, there was comfort and connection. They talked, laughed, shared memories of the year behind them and dreams for the years ahead. When they landed in Malé, Amara felt a strange sense of homecoming. The island nation had been the setting for a pivotal moment in her life, the first time she'd allowed herself to feel something beyond responsibility and survival. The resort was as beautiful as she remembered, though this time they arrived together, openly a couple rather than an accidental passenger and her reluctant host. "We've come a long way," Amara observed as they settled into their beachfront villa, the same one Liam had occupied a year ago. The next few days were a blissful escape from responsibility. They snorkeled in crystal-clear waters, walked for miles along pristine beaches, and watched spectacular sunsets from their private deck. Liam was attentive but never smothering, giving Amara space when she needed it while making her feel cherished every moment. On their final evening, Liam suggested a sunrise walk on the beach. "One last chance to enjoy paradise before heading back to reality," he said. Amara agreed, though she noted a nervous energy in him that hadn't been present earlier in their trip. They rose before dawn, the sky just beginning to lighten as they made their way to a secluded stretch of beach. "This is where we sat that first day," Liam said, gesturing to a spot where the sand met the tree line. "When you told me you weren't impressed by my money or status." Amara smiled at the memory. "I was trying very hard not to like you." "I know. And I was trying very hard to impress you." Liam's expression grew serious. "That day changed me, Amara. Meeting you changed everything." The rising sun painted the sky in brilliant hues of pink and gold, casting a magical light over the beach. Amara was so captivated by the view that she didn't immediately notice Liam dropping to one knee beside her. When she turned and saw him there, a small velvet box in his hand, her heart seemed to stop. "Amara Duval," Liam said, his voice steady despite the emotion in his eyes. "A year ago I was flying around the world looking for peace, but you were peace. I just didn't recognize it." The words, an echo of the scenario Amara had imagined so many times, brought tears to her eyes. "This year with you has been the happiest, most meaningful time of my life," Liam continued. "You've shown me what really matters, not success or wealth, but connection, purpose, love." He opened the box, revealing a ring that perfectly captured Amara's taste. Elegant but not ostentatious, a simple solitaire diamond in a vintage setting. "I'm not asking you to give up your independence or your dreams," Liam said. "I'm asking if you'll build a life with me, where we both pursue what matters to us, supporting each other every step of the way." His eyes held hers, vulnerable and hopeful. "Amara, will you marry me?" Time seemed suspended as Amara looked at the man before her. This man who had seen her at her most defensive and still recognized her worth, who had respected her need for independence while offering unwavering support, who had fought alongside her against those who would diminish their connection. "Yes," she said, the word carrying all the certainty in her heart. "Yes, I'll marry you." Liam slipped the ring onto her finger, then rose to gather her in his arms. Their kiss was a promise, a celebration, a beginning. Later, as they sat watching the full sunrise, Amara's head on Liam's shoulder and her hand resting on his chest where she could feel his heartbeat, a sense of contentment unlike anything she'd ever known washed over her. "Happy?" Liam asked softly. "More than I knew was possible," she replied truthfully. They returned to Miami the next day, sharing their news first with Eleanor and Marcus, who received it with joy but little surprise. "About time," was Eleanor's only comment, while Marcus immediately began planning his best man speech. Life resumed its busy pace, but with a new undercurrent of anticipation. Amara continued her work at the foundation, now with the added dimension of wedding planning, a simple ceremony they agreed with only close friends and family. 6 weeks after their engagement, Amara was folding laundry in their new home, a comfortable house in a neighborhood halfway between her old apartment and Liam's penthouse, another compromise that honored both their needs. She heard a familiar sound overhead, the distinctive roar of a private jet flying lower than usual. Her phone buzzed with an incoming message. Opening it, she found a photo from Liam, who had left 3 days earlier for meetings in San Francisco. The image showed him barefoot on a beach in the Maldives, holding a sign made from driftwood. "Still got a seat beside me. Want it?" Amara laughed, then texted back, "Is this another kidnapping?" His reply came quickly, more like an elopement. "Just you, me, and a justice of the peace on the beach. What do you say?" Amara's heart raced with sudden certainty. The big wedding they'd been planning, with all its details and considerations, had never felt quite right. But this, a simple, intimate commitment in the place where they'd first connected, felt perfect. She called Marcus. "Can you and Grandma handle things for a week?" she asked without preamble. "Of course," he replied. "What's up?" "I'm eloping," Marcus laughed. "About time. Go get your happily ever after, sis. We'll be fine." Amara looked around at the half-folded laundry, the to-do lists on the refrigerator, the ordinary trappings of the life she'd built. Then she thought of Liam waiting for her, of the extraordinary journey that had brought them together, of the future they would create side by side. She held her breath, and slowly she started packing. The private jet that had once mistakenly carried her away from her life now stood ready to take her toward a new one, not as an accident, but as a choice to love, to trust, to build something beautiful with the person who saw her completely and loved her anyway. As Miami fell away beneath the jet's powerful ascent, Amara felt nothing but peace. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, the cleaning lady and the CEO, two souls from different worlds who had found, against all odds, that they were exactly where they belonged, with each other. Fade to black.